I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shikha, and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you guys are listening, subscribing, and commenting. I appreciate the support. And if you're interested in supporting me further, you can do that by going to my Patreon or Ko-fi link. They're both in the description below. In this video, I wanted to speak to you guys about a quote that I recently read by Winston Churchill. Now, of course, there's a lot of quotes that are attributed to people that are not actually said by those people, but I don't know exactly if this was said by Winston Churchill. But the quote says, "We are masters of the unsaid words, but slaves of those we let slip out." We're masters of the unsaid words, but slaves of those we let slip out. And when I read that, I really connected with these words because I have been in my own head telling myself this for a long time. There have been moments in my past where I got angry and I got into my rage mode and I said things that I later regretted, or said things that were true, but really, what was the point of it? Why did I say those words? It's like, I think it's a Buddhist saying as well, say no evil, hear no evil, or do no evil. But I think the main thing that really is, I think the hardest thing to do out of all of that is to say no evil, or not to say things to say things only that are useful, or useful in the situation, or useful to the other person. To not say unkind words, of course, is easy, but not to say anything that is useless in general is very difficult. I find that especially when I'm angry, especially when I'm in a mode where I feel like I want to just like verbally vomit all over that other person and show them what I know and set them straight somehow. It's like this thing inside of me that says, okay, I know who you really are and I know all your deep dark secrets. And so I'm going to tell you all of those things in front of you and then embarrass you and make you feel terrible about yourself as a human being. And so I do these things where I get angry or upset and I lose control over my tongue and I say these things out loud about this individual who's in front of me. And of course that person feels bad and I get the upper hand or I get the power or whatever that I was looking for. But it doesn't feel good at all. You do it and you say those words and the person they're embarrassed and they're sad or upset after and they avoid you, whatever it might be. But you said these things and it just feels unfulfilling. It feels empty after. And you're like, what's the point? What was the point of that? Yeah, you feel a little bit better in the moment, perhaps for a few seconds, but then the entire time after that, you feel like a bad person. You feel evil. You feel unkind, and you feel like if it would have been better if you had just kept your mouth shut. And so basically that's what this saying says, is that we are masters of the unsaid words. So things that are inside of us that are not said, we are masters of them. They're not out there in the open. They can't hurt us. They can't hurt someone else. They can't make someone else feel bad or make us feel superior for a few seconds and then terrible after. They can't do anything. They're inside of us. They are stored deep within us and they're perfectly placed where they are. But as soon as we say something out loud, as soon as we open our mouth, as soon as we start talking in front of someone else, if you're doing it with yourself, it's fine. But when there's someone in front of you and you're saying things to them, instantaneously you've become a slave to those words that are out there in the ether. You've said those words out loud and that person has heard those words and now you can never take them back again. Ever, ever. They're out there and for the rest of eternity, until that person remembers those words that you've spoken to them, they're going to be out there and they're going to haunt you and they're going to upset you more than they upset anyone else. Perhaps that other person's going to forget that you've said those words. Perhaps not. Probably not. But for you, yourself, you're definitely going to remember those words and they're going to haunt you for the rest of eternity. You're going to sit there thinking, why did I ever say those things? How could I be so foolish? And how could I think that that was a good idea in the moment in time? An example that really irks me from my past, and there's many of them, like I've done a lot of foolish things in my life, absolutely. And I've said a lot of foolish things as well to the people that I love, especially when I would get angry. That's the reason, one of the main reasons I meditate is to control my tongue. It's because when I don't meditate, when I don't have mindfulness training, when I don't control myself in that manner, when I do get angry with my friends, family, or acquaintances, I say really dumb things and I regret every single word that I say when I'm in that mode of emotionality, of high arousal, right? And so I try as much as possible not to. I just, no matter what's going on, no matter how angry I am, and no matter how much I want to, no matter how much the words are bubbling up inside of me, I'll just keep my mouth shut until I'm able to control my tongue and say things in a rational manner. As much as possible, I really try nowadays not to speak out of anger or out of emotionality because it really results in nothing good. It literally ruins relationships, and I do not want that. But one example that really strikes me from my past was when I was angry with my sister, I think 10, 12 years ago. And I called her the B word, B-I-T-C-H. I called her that. And my sister is the sweetest, most innocent angel out there. Like, yes, she is a little bit temperamental sometimes. And yes, she's an INTJ, so she says things that are true and hurtful at points in time. But at that point, I didn't understand her, and I did not even try to understand her. And why was she saying those things? She was saying them out of love. She wanted to help me out. But for me, in that moment in time, I was like, "You are such a..." And I said that word to her, and the crestfallen look on her face, or the slump in her shoulders, and then the sadness in her that I can still remember to this day, it literally broke me apart. I don't think she was hurt as much as I was hurt by the fact that I said that word to her. And from that point onwards, like, I really was very careful not to say really foolish things. Now, of course, I still did, but I really tried as much as possible to control my tongue around the people that I loved, especially around the people that I love, because it's so easy to say terrible things to them. You know them so well, right? I mean, you know them really well. You've known them. I've known my family for 30 odd years, and that's a long time to know someone. And so you know their weaknesses, you know what their trigger points are, you know what you can say in order to bring them down in an instant. Especially if you're an INFJ, you know even better than that, right? Even better than most people, you know how to bring someone down. But what's the point of that, really? Like, I know if the tit for tat thing works, then you would feel better if you made them feel as bad as you felt when they said something to you. But really, tit for tat never really works. You know, it's like the whole world is blinded if we play the tit for tat game. If we play the game, okay, I'm gonna poke your eye out if you poke my eye out. Like, the whole world ends up blind. And so there's really no justification for that. You know, you could do it, and you could do it a couple of times and realize, yeah, I said those things, terrible things to this person, and momentarily perhaps I felt good about myself, and I felt, yeah, I'm so powerful, I'm so great. But that was a moment, maybe 2 moments, maybe 10 moments. But then after that, you felt like the most foolish person on this planet, and you think to yourself, why did I do that? Why did I say those things? Why could I not keep a hold on my tongue? Why could I not keep my mouth shut? And this happens to me every single time now, realizing that the best thing to do, especially when you're feeling a lot of emotions and you're feeling anger or hatred, or you want to just bring this person down, the best thing to do is to keep your mouth shut. And maybe write a letter, or maybe write an email and delete it, or do something that gets rid of all that angst inside of you. But not say it out loud. Not say it out loud to that person, especially because it's going to ruin your relationship. And I know I've said so many terrible things to my mother in the past that she still brings up. She still remembers all those things. And she still, when we have arguments, she still brings them up and says, you know, you said that to me when you were 15 years old or you were 20 years old. And I'm like, oh, wow, I can't believe that these words that I thought were nothing, that I just said out of meaningless thinking, I just said them out loud. I didn't know that they were going to come and haunt me and hold me back and ruin my relationship with my mother and my father or my loved ones for the rest of eternity. I did not realize the power of it. Now, of course, I realize the power of words, and I've talked about the power of words to you guys many times. But we really have to be careful with the things we say, especially in a highly emotional state, especially in anger, I think. Because as I said, it's easy for us to bring people down, but then what's the point? Why? It's not going to make you feel better. In fact, it'll make you feel terrible after. You're going to hate yourself after. And then what are you going to do about it? It just feels really, 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 really bad. And you sit there thinking, I should have not said that. And so if you know that in hindsight, then just keep your mouth shut. Don't say those things that are in your heart. Keep them to yourself and notice that your relationships start improving. At least for me, I've noticed that if I keep my mouth shut and I don't say stupid things or foolish things in front of my loved ones, my relationship with them keeps on improving day by day. So that's the lesson I wanted to share with you guys and with myself. I think I'm trying to teach myself to keep my mouth shut more than anyone else. If you guys have any questions about this, of course, message me anytime. You can comment below or you can private message me and I will do a further video on it. And again, thank you for your support. If you want to support me further, you can go to my Ko-fi link. The link is in the description below. I shall see you guys the next time around. Bye for now.